Hey guys, welcome to another episode of Music and Film with Luana.
Hello, welcome.
How's it going?
I'm good. How are you?
Pretty good. So, last week we talked about sync licensing.
Yes.
Can you give the people a bit of an overview of what sync licensing is?
Yes, so I'm signed with Sodabox Music.
Yes.
One of my songs is signed with it. And I'm a member of ASCAP.
Okay.
And so if, for example, another music producer or director wants to use my song and Sodabox Music take care of that, I'm getting paid once the song is in the project, part of the project. That's why I signed an agreement with Sodabox Music.
Yeah.
And I'm exclusively signed with them, so only Sodabox Music can use the song.
Yeah.
And and then ASCAP collects all the royalties.
What's the benefit of signing exclusively with and what would you call Sodabox? Like, what would you call their role?
Sodabox Music is a music library. It's basically like a music catalog of each artist.
Gotcha. Yeah.
And just a few artists are signed with this company, and it's you can register, and then you can see all the artists. You can read biographies and listen to the musics that are signed with Sodabox.
And I mean, last week we discussed it, but why Sodabox over a company like Taxi or that's pretty much the only one I know. So why Sodabox?
Sodabox is really good for independent artists.
Gotcha.
And they're based in Italy and New York.
Okay.
So that's a benefit if you want to have exposure in Europe as well.
Gotcha. And you sent me this article about composers and Discovery networks.
Yes.
What is that about?
Okay, so when I read it, I was like, oh my gosh, it's bad if it would happen.
Yeah.
Or if it's happening. So it's about cutting all royalties off. So composers that have residual income from TV shows from back like 10 years or something.
Yeah.
So they want to retire with this residual income, which makes sense. Or
Yeah,
they want to support other music projects because it's expensive. I mean, buying music equipment and stuff like this.
Absolutely.
And all TV networks, they want to convince composers to get rid of residual income and to agree with a buyout.
Huh.
Yeah.
Why do you think they're doing that? Did it say in the article? Like, why?
It's in the article. So because I think it's about cost.
Yes.
And that's what I heard. I worked for the Fortnite World Cup in Queens last year.
Okay.
And it's for video games. And usually NGE, they hire musicians to write music for video games. But now...
Wait, sorry, what is NGE?
It's Next Generation. They have this huge event, Fortnite World Cup. So international game players fly into New York and they compete against each other.
Gotcha. Okay.
And they have like prizes and so what I heard about an IT guy.
Yeah.
He said they don't want to hire musicians anymore. They just have a library with samples with beats, and then they mix it together. So it's royalty free.
Huh.
Yeah.
So like you said, the reason why they're doing it is cut costs.
Mm-hmm.
But how can these composers fight back? Like, all right, say for example, you're a composer on one of these shows on Discovery Networks. What would you do to avoid this from happening?
Yeah, so all composers, they come together and they signing a petition.
Okay.
So I hope it won't happen.
Do you think it will work? Do you think the petition will work?
I think it will work because there are so many talented musicians out there, and you can never replace a musician with like music from a computer. Like you can never.
Yeah, let's hope not.
You can never replace a whole orchestra with a fake orchestra. I mean, you can make it sound like it would be a real orchestra, but it's never the same quality.
But what if that's enough for them? Because keep in mind, their main goal is to cut costs. I don't think they really care if it's perfect or anything. I mean, so yeah, they're not going for perfection. They're going for as close as the real thing as possible.
Yeah.
If they actually chose to go down that path. So wouldn't that just, don't you think they have the most leverage?
Well,
I mean, I get you're a musician, so you're looking at
Yeah.
it from the perspective of a musician, but say for example you were one of these network executives and it was your job to cut costs, and you're like, if I can just get rid of all these composers and just go with royalty free music, why not? Like, do you see like why they would do it?
Yeah, I mean, it makes sense. Like for example, Dolly Parton, she makes a lot of money just from the famous song "I Will Always Love You."
Okay.
And that's why she became so rich, because of residual income
From that one song.
Yeah, not just this song, but
that really,
so many songs. And then then they made a motion picture film with the song Bodyguard, and Whitney Houston is performing it, and she makes a lot of money from this song. And so that makes sense. So if they would cut all the royalties, then but what happens with all the musicians? How do they make a living?
Yeah, but that's just for like composers.
Yeah.
Like, say for example, you have a song and it's with Sodabox. They handle your catalog. If Discovery Networks wanted to use your song, they would still have to pay you, right?
Yes.
Okay. But so now, and then you also mentioned something about they're going back and taking out the songs from their previous shows and replacing it. Can you explain that a bit?
Yeah, for example, if my song or my composition would be in the TV show Friends, in episode whatever, which was 10 years ago, so I would make residual income till now. And if they would replace my song or composition with like a music library track, so they would cut my residual income.
Can they do that though? Don't the composers have like a guild or a union or something to protect them from that happening?
I only know about as I said, ASCAP, and you can have a music lawyer. It's good to have one once you're established and you make a good living as a songwriter, composer, and it's a lot.
Does ASCAP provide any of those services to protect writers and like producers, or no? Do they?
They have, if you sign up with ASCAP, you get a lot of newsletter, emails, and they talk a lot about music licensing and the agreements, and they have connections to music lawyers, and so they could help you definitely with this.
I mean, I guess composers have like a union or a guild, but I just don't know.
Yeah, there's a union called, my friend, she's in union AFM, American Federation of Musicians. And she writes music for film and TV, and she's a member of this union.
So I guess there is then.
Yeah. But I don't know how much they help in this situation. If this new rule, if it happens.
So just so that people know, it's not currently in effect, right?
Not yet.
No. It's just right now. It's like a proposal.
Yes.
And I mean, if it actually does go into effect, I don't see what's to stop other networks from like adapting this policy. So but still, again, if you're a writer and you have like a produced track, if they want your music, they still would have to pay you.
Yes.
But if they already have your music, they could just remove it.
They can remove it and replace it with another track.
Royalty free.
Because, I mean, the show was already aired, and if they want to, sometimes you can, like, on Christmas you can see Sissy. Sissy. If they would just remove the original music and replace it with whatever. Yeah.
But now this gets interesting. I'm guessing Sissy is like something popular.
Yeah.
Okay. But now, say for example, you watch that movie and you're used to hearing that song. Mm-hmm. If they replace that song, you're not gonna like that movie anymore.
Yeah, it's because it's so. Music is like another character in the film. Yeah. And I did a workshop about writing music for film when I was studying back in Germany. Yeah. And we watched the same movie, silent movie, with different music, and it was like watching a total different movie. Even the picture is the same.
Same, right?
But it was emotionally and how you capture the movie was totally different. Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, we did discuss this in a previous episode about like music becoming like its own character.
Right. Yeah.
So I mean, discovery. I mean, taking out the composer's like original work, that could, in effect, affect the storyline. No.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So.
And also the audience.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Yeah. So I hope it doesn't get approved, or I hope if it gets approved they face so much backlash that they go back to actually just leaving the composer's tracks, because like you said, a lot of these people rely on this income.
Yeah, because they want to retire with this income.
Exactly.
And just, I mean, it's already, music business is so stressful, and sometimes you don't have enough work for a month, or you just work on this particular project on a budget. You always work on a budget. So if a producer or director reaches out to you and says, can you write me the score for my feature film, the budget is like 2,000, or sometimes you have a higher budget, sometimes a lower budget, but you have to really be focused because you have deadlines. Mm-hmm. And and something, if you have residual income, it's nice. You can relax, you can really focus on your work. If you don't have residual income, it's hard.
Oh, I gotta ask. All right, so say for example, you write the film score for a film, short film. Mm-hmm. Who owns the right to the music?
Okay, that's so it's an agreement. How much percent? So agreement between composer and producer. And
you've written songs for like films before, right?
Yes, I wrote a song for the short film and I acted in this short film.
And did you register the song with ASCAP?
No, I didn't do that yet.
Why not? Wait, but why not? You have an agreement with the production company, right?
I don't have an agreement. That was more like a short film challenge.
Oh, okay.
So, okay. And it was only screened once at the Cinema Festival, New York City in Queens.
So it's not available online now?
It's not available, no.
Okay.
It's just private screening. But the producer, she is working now with another editor, and she's planning to distribute it to different film festivals.
Ah.
Yeah, so then I would obviously register my music with ASCAP.
And then how would the royalties be determined then?
Okay, that's also a good question.
Because, I mean, all right, so I'm guessing, like we talked about the last episode, you would contact ASCAP and said, oh, I wrote something and it's in this movie and it was screened here, and this is the audience, the population of the audience.
Yeah.
But how would they determine your royalty? Yeah. That's like very like confusing to me, like how would they determine royalty for like live performances and like screenings and showings and stuff.
Yeah, I would say like how much ticket sales, so how many people were there and where was it screened, how big is the venue, and from there they count how much you get.
Yeah, I think that's like a reasonable way of doing it. But all right, say for example they paid $20-30, and it's like 200 people came to that festival, but they didn't just go to that festival to see your film. So how would you determine what percentage should go to you? And yeah, this had to be a bit tricky.
Yeah, it's tricky. Yeah.
But yeah, I hope it doesn't go through for those composers. I mean, I hope the discovery plan doesn't go through. Yeah. What was your reaction upon initially reading that?
I was like, is that a joke? I was like, what? Wow. And the interesting thing is they don't do it with actors. So as an actor, you also have residual income.
Oh, absolutely, yes.
Yes, that's why you should be a SAG member.
Yeah. But even, all right, with actors, what you're starting to do now is something similar. It's called a buyout. For example, actors and producers who used to work on films and TV shows, they would get what is called back-end pay.
Yeah.
But now you have a network like Netflix. Like, you don't really have back-end pay. You don't have syndication money. So what happens is they give you a large sum up front, and you don't really get money on the back end.
Yeah.
So I'm guessing that's what they're going to start doing with composers if they choose even to go with composers. It's harder to replace an actor, especially a big name actor. It's much easier to replace a composer.
To replace music, yeah.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
Yeah. Unless you're like Hans Zimmer or something, then that's your brand.
Yeah.
But if you're just like any other composer, they can just, replace your music.
Right.
But yeah. In terms of royalty free, how exactly does that work? Like, how does one's music become royalty free?
It's always up to the composer as well. Sometimes you can, if you have a music, if you want to produce your own content on YouTube, and sometimes if you cover a song by a famous artist, then they just mute the clip.
Well, they don't usually mute it anymore. They just say, all the revenue comes to me. Yeah, that's like the new thing.
Yeah, and you can replace the music with royalty-free music on YouTube. Yeah. So, for example, a composer offers his library, his catalog, or part of the catalog to YouTube, and then YouTube pays upfront. I don't know what amount of money, but it's always between the composer and YouTube. And then creators can use the music for royalty-free.
Oh, okay. Well, it's royalty-free to the user, but YouTube still has to pay the artist.
Yeah, right.
Okay, okay. I guess that works out for their user. Yeah. Have you ever tried to make a deal directly with YouTube to do something like that?
No, not yet.
Oh, so you just go with Sodabox?
Yes.
Okay. But that's possible, right? As an independent artist, is it possible, or do you have to go through like an intermediary?
I mean, because of CD Baby, my music is on YouTube as well.
Yeah.
And they handle everything like
licensing,
monetizing.
But the example you gave me with the artist, like, it's more direct.
Yeah. Oh yeah. For example, if you're a composer and you offer YouTube, here is my music, and I agree that this music is royalty free, then this is a direct contract.
Exactly. Yeah. But YouTube still pays the artist, and in turn uses the artist's music on their platform. So they give their users access to the artist's music, but the artist still gets paid for that music.
Right. Yeah.
Okay. Yeah. So back to composing music for film. You've never actually like drafted a contract where you own a certain percentage of the, right? Never?
No.
Okay.
No.
But how would you go about doing it though? How would you?
I mean, it depends on the project. That was more like a film challenge, so we had to shoot a short film within 3 days. Okay. And I wrote the music on 1 day. So it's also because it takes time to write a score, to master it and stuff like this, and it's not like 100% perfect for distribution, and because the time was so short. Exactly. Makes sense. And I mean, if somebody asks me, can you write a song for my feature film, then of course I would sign an agreement and discuss, so how much percentage do I have, how much owner rights do I have for the song.
Okay.
Yeah, that's completely different.
And all right, so writing a song, just one song, but doing an entire soundtrack, how would that work?
Yeah, that so you would discuss this with the producer. For example, if you write the feature film is about 1 hour and you write 50 minutes.
Yes.
And then you can. So how it works is they have a budget for music, and then you either agree or you disagree, or sometimes you say, okay, I charge for 50 minutes music score, I charge this amount, like you can charge 10,000 for example.
Yeah. For 50 minutes.
Yeah.
Okay. And all right, do you come to an agreement before knowing about the project, after, or during, or how does that work? So say for example I'm a producer, it's like, hey, I'm looking for a composer for my feature film, it's a horror film. What's the next step? Oh, let me see the script, or if it's already been shot, here's like a preview, like how does it?
Yeah, first of all, it's like any job. You have an interview, a meeting, and then you would discuss the script, and then the composer would make some suggestions and ideas, and then if everybody agrees, then it would come to an agreement, and they would say, okay, this is the budget we have for music. Yeah.
Oh, so the script first, then. But what if the film has already been shot?
Okay, then it's then they say, okay, this is the footage we have. Can you write a score? And then say you're like Hans Zimmer. Yeah. I would say, okay, I can do it, but I charge this amount of money.
Yeah. Does he have like a company, or is it just like him?
I think he has a manager and agent, and they handle all those agreements.
No, I mean like his own personal company, like how you have like George Lucas. He has like Skywalker Sound, and I was just
like own label.
Yes.
Yes.
He does.
Usually, yeah.
Okay. I'm guessing he has artists under that label, like other composers.
Yeah.
That's pretty cool. Would you ever want to be like signed to like his label?
Well, why not? It's good. It's a good connection. Oh, yeah.
Yeah, it's pretty interesting. Yeah. And there's this other perfect. He used to. Well, he probably still does, but he's like a hip hop producer, Ludwig. He works. You ever heard of Childish Gambino?
Yes, I heard about it.
So that guy worked with Childish Gambino on a couple songs, and then he ended up doing like the soundtrack for Black Panther. So it's just like how interesting it is to transition from like hip hop to like Black Panther to now being nominated for Oscars in terms of composing. Yeah. So the question is like, what's your path to getting to where you want to go? Like, what's your goal as like composing music?
My goal is so I'm as a composer / songwriter.
Yes.
So I want to collaborate with as many artists as possible, and also record in all those major studios, and bringing together musicians, and I mean that would be amazing. And also as a singer, from a singer perspective, you have to have connections with a vocal contractor.
Okay.
For example, I worked together with Tim Davis. He's really famous.
Give us some of his credits.
Yeah, so he did Glee.
Okay.
So he produced the records, the vocals of each artist.
So he's a vocal coach.
Vocal coach, vocal contractor, which means
what is that?
Okay, he contracts studio singers, and so that's basically, as a studio singer, you sing in a choir. For example, Lord of the Rings, you can hear a choir in the soundtrack.
Gotcha.
That's the way how you get into the studio, by a vocal contract. And he does workshops for singers.
Yeah.
Like studio intensive workshop, and I did one 2 years ago.
Yeah.
At the power station.
Oh, vocal contractor. I had no idea. So does I'm guessing the vocal contractor work directly with the music supervisor, or no?
Yes, and he's also in the studio, and he is mixing too. So, yeah. Okay. So he has to be also a producer and know how to mix the track. Yeah.
And he worked for Glee and what else?
For Glee, and he has a lot of credits. He worked. He worked on Lady Gaga's Billboard Award show. Yeah. And for Ariana Grande.
Okay.
Yeah.
Like her entire album or a particular song, or?
He worked with her backup singers.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, for this show, for Billboard show.
Yeah.
And then he.
It's okay. So yeah, he sounds like he's a pretty successul individual.
He is.
So what is he doing now?
Right now, he's based in LA.
Oh, okay.
And he also is working together with
What genre?
No, she's like a jazz swing singer. She's based in New York, and Shoshona Bean. Okay. She's a great artist.
No idea who that is. I was going to try to help you.
He produced her vocals
okay.
on different records.
Okay, nice. So you're a songwriter, you're a musician, you're an actor. Singer. Okay, yeah.
Dancer.
Yeah. So which one do you gravitate towards the most, or it just depends on the mood you're in?
Okay, so I see myself as a singer-songwriter. Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Yes.
Okay, singer-songwriter. Wait, why singer-songwriter and not one of the other?
Oh, well, for me it goes together.
Gotcha.
I mean, songwriter can be somebody who is good in writing lyrics.
Yeah.
I mean, lyricist that's another category. So
really,
lyricist.
It's a different category than songwriter.
It's just I mean, songwriter. That's the topic.
Gotcha.
And then instrumentalist and lyricist.
So.
Or you are both.
And what's an instrumentalist?
Instrumentalist, somebody who writes the melody, who is good with melodies.
Oh.
And then there's another one who is not good with melodies but better with lyrics.
Gotcha.
And then there's another category, and a person who is good with melody, writing melody and lyrics. This is my case.
Oh,
yeah.
Okay.
And I'm a singer, so
yes.
I'm a trained singer. Some songwriters, they are not trained. They're not trained in playing an instrument or singing.
That's true.
And then they just write the song, and then they hire a musician and singer to record the song.
And what's a producer?
Producer, engineering, and also producer is also a musician, because it's up to the producer if the song is successful. And producer also does arrangements, composing.
Okay.
Yeah.
Like Quincy Jones.
Yeah.
Yeah. Who else? Who else would you categorize as a producer?
Peter Bliss.
Okay.
I work with him. I go to his workshops, and he has a lot of connections in Nashville. So the way he works with a songwriter, the songwriter goes to his studio, and then the songwriter hires somebody, and then Peter listens to the track, and then he knows exactly, okay, this singer in Nashville could be perfect for your track because of the mood of the song, and then they Skype all together, and then this singer in Nashville records her vocals, and then the singer sends it to Peter, and then he produces everything.
So you say the songwriter hires someone, who? Someone
like a musician or a singer, or the songwriter sings the song.
Like a reference track?
Mm-hmm.
Is that what that's called?
Yes.
Okay, so the songwriter puts together a reference track and then meets with Peter.
Yes.
And then Peter speaks to, like, oh, okay, so I have the perfect artist in Nashville. Oh, okay. And then how does he arrange it all together? Like, what role is that? Like an engineer?
Yeah, engineer. He puts everything together.
Okay. Okay. So yeah, to wrap up, you want to like tell people about your current project?
Yes, so I'm producing 2 EPs with 2 different music producers.
Yeah.
So one EP is house music, club music. The other one is alternative Latin pop.
Yeah.
I'm really excited to release it. Which
I know you told me about clap music. Yeah, soon.
Yeah, soon.
I know you told me about clap music, but for those who don't know, we want to explain what clap music is.
Clap music, like Lisa, Madonna. Like if you listen to, heard about the the famous Fun House in New York, all those artists who have performed there. Yeah.
Who are some of your influence? All right, when you're going into like making this EP, like, what's your creative mood, or how do you get creative? Like what motivates you?
Always music, listening to other musicians, and then what I do when I write lyrics, I pick a song which that would match to the track I'm working on, and then I'm reading the lyrics.
Yeah.
And then I take parts of it and see, okay, this could work or not, or then I put it all together, and then I put my ideas into it, and I mix it all together with the song of the artist and my lyrics, and then I rewrite it. It's always if you're a songwriter, you have different versions. You're rewriting the song again and again.
Yeah. When do you know a song is completed, though? When do you know that, okay, this song is done? I've written it and it's perfect in my eyes.
What I do is, the workshop is really helpful. So before I I have my demo.
Yes.
And and then I show it to other songwriters, and they give me feedback in regards of the track, or what they are missing, an additional instrument or bass, or another expression in my lyrics.
Yeah.
And then I take these advices and go to the studio and record the song.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right. Let the people know where to follow you on Instagram.
Yeah, my Instagram is luanasandova.official.
And where to stream your music.
My music is everywhere on Spotify, iTunes, Tidal. CD Baby, Tidal.
All right, thank you guys so much.
Thank you. See you next week.
Bye-bye.
It's a vibe, yeah. Back to the vision, stone cold. I'm tripping through your soul. I'm falling through the holes in your heart. Now we all living in the base, keep upping, but I just can't seem to shake it off. Oh no, can't stop thinking about you. Pretty face in the body with them tattoos. When I'm chilling with you, you make me feel brand new. Am I tripping or am I